My beloved child, there are doors within your heart that have been closed for a very long time. So long that you began to believe they should remain in darkness forever. Behind those doors, you have placed memories that make you feel choked whenever they return. Wounds you do not know how to name, and regrets you have tried to bury beneath layers of silence. There are rooms within you filled with things you do not want anyone to see. Not because you are wicked, but because you fear that if they are opened, you will have to hurt all over again. You think those places are too tangled for me to enter, too heavy for me to touch, too old to ever be made new. But my child, the very place you think is unworthy of being visited by light is the place where I most tenderly desire to set my feet first. I do not come to you as one who merely stands outside and points out all that you have failed to do. I do not come to reopen the past and make you bow your head in shame. Nor do I come to place another burden upon shoulders already weary from trying to appear strong for far too long. I come as a father who knows how hard you have tried to survive through seasons no one understood. I come with hands that do not hold stones but carry soothing oil. I come not to frighten you, but so that at last you may exhale after so many years of holding yourself together in tension. The things you hide do not shock me. The things that make you ashamed do not change my love. Before you had the courage to speak, I already knew, and knowing everything, I still call you near. Do not think that I only want to enter the clean, bright places you have neatly arranged. The world often wants to see only the beautiful part of you, the part that knows how to smile, behave properly, and conceal the storm behind a calm appearance. But I am not like the world. I do not love only the version of you that you try to present before others. I love you, even when you tremble, even on the days when you cannot understand yourself, even when your prayer is nothing more than a sigh. I do not need you to redecorate the inner room before inviting me in. I do not love you because you are already well. I love you so that, through that love, you may be lifted up, restored, and taught how to live in the freedom you once thought you had lost. Sometimes you hear within your heart a very quiet invitation so bold, gentle that you may mistake it for a passing thought. That is me standing near the door. You have locked. I do not break the door down. I do not force my way in with power that overwhelms you. I do not compel you to face everything before you are ready. I stand there with the patience of love, more enduring than your fear, gentler than the memories that once made you shrink back. I know how to wait without leaving. I know how to call without frightening you. I know how to remain beside you until you realize that this door no longer needs to be a prison. If only you open it a little, if only you whisper that you no longer want to carry everything alone, I will enter with the softness of mercy. When I enter, I do not clear everything away in the hurried manner you often desire. I do not work within you like a violent wind that sweeps everything away in one moment and leaves you stunned in an empty place. I heal according to the rhythm of grace, day by day, layer by layer, breath by breath, memory by memory placed back under the light. Sometimes I replace anxiety with a quiet peace you cannot explain. Sometimes I calm the conflicting voices in your mind so that you begin to recognize what is truth and what is only the echo of pain. Sometimes I do not remove the circumstance immediately, but I place within you a new endurance, not the rigid strength of striving, but the steadiness born from knowing that you are being held. Remember the story of the paralyzed man carried to my son by Mren's friends. The crowd was too thick, the entrance was blocked, and every doorway seemed closed. But persistent love found another way. They opened the roof and lowered the man before the one who had authority to restore. That man may have felt ashamed that his helplessness was seen by everyone. Perhaps he had grown accustomed to lying within his limitations, accustomed to pitying eyes, accustomed to the thought that his life would never become more than that. But when he was placed before the holy presence, the first thing he received was not rebuke, but forgiveness, lifting, and the opening of a new life. Do you see? What you think is exposure can become the place where grace touches you. What you think is humiliation can become the moment I speak restoration over your life. Therefore, do not wait until you feel more worthy before drawing near to me. Do not wait until every emotion within you is neatly arranged. Every question has an answer, and every wound stops aching before allowing yourself to rest in me. You do not need to be strong enough to be loved by me. You do not need to be wise enough to be led by me. You do not need to be whole enough to be held by me. You only need to come in truth. Come with what is unfinished, with thoughts still tangled, with trembling hands, with a heart still learning how to trust again. I do not send you away because you are tired. I do not turn my face because you are weak. I am not offended by your questions. I am your Father, and a merciful Father does not demand that his child heal himself before being embraced. Then you will see that walking with me does not mean every outward road immediately becomes smooth. Winds may still blow, some days may still be difficult, and certain things may still need time to be set in order. But what changes first is what is within you. You will no longer live like someone abandoned in the middle of things you cannot understand. You will no longer have to clutch every broken piece just to prove that your life has not fallen apart. You will learn to release each thing into my hands, not because you are indifferent, but because you trust that my hands are steadier than yours. You will learn to rest, even when you have not yet seen the entire way out, because your assurance no longer depends on understanding everything, but on knowing that I know what I am doing. I know you are tired from trying to keep everything standing still. You tried to keep people from leaving, tried to keep plans from collapsing, tried to keep your face calm, tried to keep your heart from breaking any further. But my child, there are things I am no longer asking you to hold. There are broken pieces you do not need to grip so tightly that your hands bleed. Lay them down before me. I know how to rebuild without needing your panic. I know how to take the parts you thought were ruined and make from them a testimony gentler, deeper, and more beautiful than before. I do not waste your tears. I do not forget the years you thought were useless. In my hands, even seasons that seem like ashes can become good soil for something new to be planted. Your future is not condemned by what has happened. It is not locked by one failure, not erased by a season of wandering, not destroyed by the things you once did not know how to overcome. What you call an ending may only be the place where I place a period at the end of an old chapter, so I can continue writing with the ink of wisdom. You are not an unfinished story abandoned halfway. You are not a deserted house. You are a work I am still tending, a garden I am still watering, a child I still call with unchanging love. Let me enter the places you have locked. Let my light spread into every dark corner. Let my tenderness do what your striving could never do. I am the hand still writing your life, and what I write will bear the mark of love, patience, and glory beyond what you ever dared to hope. My beloved child, before the world heard your first cry, I already knew the sound of every breath you would take. Before anyone called your name with human lips, I had already called you within my eternal purpose. You are not an accidental appearance in the vast stream of life. nor are you a speck of dust carried away by nameless changes. I wove you together in the secret place, placed within you, features no one can duplicate, and lit inside you a purpose that cannot be erased by mistakes, buried by tears, or destroyed by the seasons in which you lost your way. I saw the days when you were strong, and I also saw the days when you collapsed. I know the choices you have regretted, the turns you wish you had never taken, the words you once spoke in haste, the door you opened because of loneliness. But none of those things caused me to forget your true name. People may place heavy labels upon you. Some call you by your past. Some remember only your mistakes and forget the journey in which you kept trying to rise again. Some look at one season of failure and think they understand your entire life. At times, even you have called yourself by names that did not come from me. Too late, unworthy, forgotten, out of chances, unseen. But my child, those names are not engraved in my heart. In me, you do not bear the name of brokenness. In me, you do not bear the name of delay. In me, you do not bear the name of meaninglessness. I call you a beloved child, chosen, kept, and entrusted with a holy part to fulfill in your generation. The name I have given you is not changed by the voice of the crowd, not shaken by a dark season, and not lost, simply because you once forgot who you were. There are days when you think I am silent, and that silence wounds you. You have asked for a sign, longed for a door to open clearly, waited for an answer to ring out like a bell in the midnight hour. Yet everything remained quiet. You wondered whether I still heard, whether I was still near, whether I was seeing what you were enduring. Let me speak to you with tenderness. My silence never means my absence. Sometimes a father holds his child's hand very tightly without saying much, because his presence itself is the assurance. Sometimes a goldsmith places gold into the fire and does not hurry to take it out. Not because he has forgotten the gold, but because he knows the moment when the refining is complete. I have not abandoned you in silence. I am teaching you to recognize me even when you hear no sound, in seasons when you cannot see the whole picture. Do not quickly assume that I am hiding things from you because I am distant. I withhold part of the road, not to confuse you, but to protect you from running ahead of the appointed time. There are things that, if you knew them too soon, your heart would rush to grasp before your hands were steady enough to hold them. There are promises that, if opened before their season, could become a burden instead of a blessing. I love you too deeply to give you something beautiful when the inside of you is not yet prepared to carry it with maturity. I am not delayed as you think. I am guarding your process with wisdom you cannot yet fully see. You see only one stretch of the road, but I see the whole journey. You feel only the weight of today, but I know the glory being formed through every day you endure. Therefore, you must learn the holy art of remembering. When darkness makes you forget the way, remember the times I placed a small light before you. When doubt whispers that you will not overcome, remember the seasons when you thought you had no strength left, yet I still lifted you to your feet. When your heart trembles before an unclear future, remember the doors I opened at the right time, the hands I sent to you, and the peace I placed within you in circumstances that were not easy. Do not remember only the miracles so great that everyone could see them. Remember also my quiet faithfulness in ordinary things. A morning when you still had breath, a night when you thought you would collapse but were still kept. A word of encouragement that came at the right time. A small way out in a situation that seemed completely blocked. My faithfulness does not appear only in radiant moments. It is also present in each day when I quietly protect you from things you do not even know. Remember the story of Elijah on the day he was so weary that he wanted to stop beneath the broom tree. He had seen fire from heaven, had stood before the people with courage, had witnessed my power revealed mightily. Yet soon after, he became afraid, exhausted, lonely, and thought he had reached the end. I did not come to him with heavy rebuke. I did not tell him to rise immediately to prove his faithfulness. I gave him rest, gave him food, let him sleep, and then led him farther into the place where I wanted to meet him. And when he waited for a great sound, I did not reveal myself in the noise he expected, but in a deep gentleness. Do you see? Sometimes I do not answer your confusion with a dramatic display, but with care that is small, near, and tender. I know when you need a word, and I also know when you need to be strengthened again before you can hear what comes next. So, when doubt rises, do not let it sit upon the throne of your heart. Do not answer doubt with panic, and do not let fear rewrite the story I have written with love. Respond with the word I have planted within you. Open your mouth and repeat what is true, even if your emotions have not yet caught up. Tell yourself that I have not abandoned you. Say that what I promised has not died, simply because the circumstance has not changed. Say that I am still faithful in the rain, as much as in the sunshine. There are words you need to write down, not so the page can remember in your place, but so your heart can be anchored whenever the storm rises. There are things you need to repeat, not as an empty ritual, but as a way of rebuilding the altar of faith right in the place where doubt once took possession. Do not run everywhere, seeking confirmation from others for what I have spoken to you in the secret place. The world may applaud you today and turn away tomorrow. Social media may give you the feeling of being seen for a moment, but it cannot give you a lasting identity. People who do not understand your journey may advise you from their own fear, their own limitations, or their own unhealed wounds. I am not telling you to despise wise counsel, but I am teaching you not to let outside voices overpower my voice within. There are things I do not shout in the crowd. I place them in the stillness of a listening heart. When you learn to become quiet before me, you will recognize what is merely noise, what is guidance, what disturbs you, and what leads you into true peace, my child. Let the memory of my faithfulness become the lamp in your hand. Do not look only at what has not yet happened, and forget all that I have already done. Do not count only the doors that have not opened and forget that I have led you through paths that seem to have no way. Do not listen only to the accusations in your mind, and forget the name I called you from the beginning. You are not forgotten. You are not late in my plan. You are not an unfinished thing set aside. You are a work I am still tending, a seed I am still watering, a lamp I am still keeping from being extinguished in the great wind. So rise in gentleness, yet with firmness. Keep walking, not because you see every answer, but because you know the one who leads you is faithful. Trust me in the quiet. Trust me in the waiting. Trust me when you have only enough light for the next step. A day will come when you look back and understand that I was present in every turn, every delay, every tear, every silence, every ordinary breath. Then you will see that no season of your life was wasted in my hands. I gathered it all, cleansed it, arranged it, and turned it into a testimony of love. Engrave this in your heart. I have spoken goodness over your life, and you will believe. I have called you by your true name, and you will live as one who is loved, chosen, and entrusted with purpose, until the work I began in you is brought to full completion. My beloved child, let your heart become still beneath the shadow of my wings. For there are things I do not speak through noise, but through deep silence, where you stop resisting and begin to hear the rhythm of my leading. You do not enter this new season because you have become perfect, nor because you understand every turn ahead. You walk because I am with you. Your sufficiency does not come from your own strength, from your ability to control everything, or from needing to prove your strength before others. Your sufficiency comes from me, the one who never runs dry, the one who began the work in you with love, and will complete it with faithfulness. Therefore, when your heart trembles, do not rush to conclude that you are not ready. Some people are ready not because they are unafraid, but because they have learned to place their fear under my authority. Some steps are steady not because the ground does not shake, but because the one walking knows that my hand is holding them. Listen to me with humility, my child, because what I want to open to you is not a mystery meant to confuse you, but understanding meant to help you mature. People look at faces, words, appearances, passing kindness, sweet gestures, and moments that make the heart tremble. But I look deeper than that. I am not swept away by outward appearance, not deceived by carefully arranged words, and not blinded by friendliness, worn like a beautiful garment. I see where intentions are formed before words are spoken. I see the motive beneath the smile, the desire hidden behind the promise, and even the shadows you are not yet clear enough to recognize. Therefore, do not only ask how someone makes you feel. Look at whether, after they enter your life, you are closer to me, more peaceful, purer in your thoughts, stronger in obedience, softer in love, and wiser in your choices. No encounter in your life is meaningless before me. Some people come like rain that soothes a dry season. Some come like a mirror that helps you recognize what needs healing. Some come like a small lamp that helps you see the path clearly. And some come like a strong wind that exposes the parts of your foundation that are still weak. I send some people to support you, encourage you, correct you with gentleness, and remind you that you are not alone on this holy journey. They do not pull you away from me in order to possess you, but bring you nearer to me. They do not make you dependent on them, but help you stand firmly in what I have placed within you. Their presence does not confuse you, does not cause you to lose purity, and does not force you to shrink your calling in order to be loved. Instead, they awaken what is good in you, strengthen your faith, and give you courage to become the person I have called you to be. However, there are also people I did not send, yet I allow them to pass through your life for a certain time, not to destroy you, but to teach you discernment. I can use even imperfect circumstances to make you wiser. I can use painful connections to show you where your heart still hungers for human approval. I can use disappointment to break the illusion you once held as truth. You once thought some people were the answer, but time revealed that they were only lessons. You once considered certain doors to be blessings, but when I slowly closed them, you realized there was no life inside them as you had imagined. Do not be ashamed because you once did not see clearly. I do not use your past to condemn you. I use it like soil that has been tilled, so I may sow into it new awareness, new strength, and a deeper ability to listen to me. There are people who come and make your heart light up very quickly. They say exactly what you have been longing to hear, touch the very place where you feel lacking, and appear just when you think you have no strength left to wait. Because of this, you may easily call that stirring a sign from me. But my child, not everything that comes at the right time comes from my hand. Not every strong emotion is confirmation from heaven. Some attractions are wrapped in beauty, yet inwardly they quietly pull you away from peace. Some promises sound like miracles, yet in truth they are soft cords wrapped around your weakness. The adversary does not always come in a frightening form. Sometimes he comes through what you desire, through a gentle voice, through false understanding, through a feeling of rightness that makes you forget to ask me. Therefore, do not let an unhealed heart become your guide. Let me lead you, because I know what kind of love lifts you up, and what kind of bondage only drains your strength. Remember Joshua. On the day the Gibeonites came with old dry provisions, worn-out clothes, and a carefully prepared story. They looked like people who had come from a distant land. Their words sounded reasonable, their evidence seemed convincing, and their appearance easily stirred compassion. But the danger was not in the old garments or the dry bread. It was in the fact that my people looked with natural eyes and made a decision without seeking guidance from me. Do you see? Deception is not always loud. Often it is clever, reasonable, and believable. Therefore, I am not teaching you to suspect everyone, but I am teaching you not to hand over the keys of your life too quickly to anyone, simply because they know how to appear in the exact way you have been hoping for. Holy wisdom does not make you cold. It keeps you from wrong covenants, hasty promises, and paths that will later require painful turning back. Therefore, learn to distinguish between temporary emotion and lasting fruit. A person truly used by me to walk with you will not make you hide your obedience, lower your holy standards, or gradually become a stranger to my calling. They may not be perfect, but their presence will not cause you to lose direction. They may correct you, but their correction will not crush your dignity. They may walk with you through difficult seasons, but they will not turn your vulnerability into a cord to control you. By contrast, the person who does not belong in your life often makes you confused, often forces you to explain your unease as though you are too sensitive, and often leads you to compromise little by little until you no longer recognize yourself in the light I placed within you. Do not be afraid when I separate you from things you once loved. Sometimes I do not take away what is good. I take away what appears good but is not meant for you. Sometimes I do not answer by bringing someone closer. I answer by making you strong enough to walk away from them. Some departures are mercy disguised as loss. Some empty spaces are rooms I have cleared so that my presence may fill them more fully. When you stop clinging to what leads you astray, you will realize that your heart becomes lighter, your eyes clearer, and your ears more able to hear my voice. I do not want you to live by panic, nor do I want you to choose people, paths, or futures from the fear of being left behind. You are not being left behind, you are being kept. You are not late, you are being prepared. You do not lack what is necessary, because I am the all-sufficient one who goes before you, walks beside you, and strengthens you from within. Now walk with a faith that is simple yet enduring. When you do not understand everything, trust me. When you feel pulled back toward the old, call my name. When a person, a promise, an opportunity, or an emotion unsettles your heart, bring it into the silence before me. Do not hastily entrust your future to something that has not yet been brought into the light. I will teach you to recognize the difference between true peace and passing excitement. I will teach you to discern the holy call from the sweet invitation. I will teach you to walk without turning back, without wavering, without allowing old emptiness to decide new choices. You are ready, not because you are enough, but because I am enough for you. What I have begun in you will not die halfway. Believe this, live in this, and keep walking with a gentle whisper in your heart. Lord, I trust you. You were created for a purpose more noble than weary existence. You were not made to live trapped in cycles of compromise, determined today, returning to the old tomorrow, and then silently blaming yourself. I do not look at you with condemnation. I look at you with the love of the one who knows who you can become when you truly place your life in my hands. Within you is a voice that must be purified, a light that must be lifted high, and an influence that must be used for what is holy. But that influence cannot grow if you continue to feed the things that muddy the spring within. You do not need to chase fame, nor do you need to prove your worth before those who do not see you with my eyes. When you belong wholly to me, I will place you in the right place, at the right time, before the right people who need to receive the light I send through your life. Therefore, release what no longer brings life to you. Release empty promises, old cycles, and attachments that gradually pull you farther from my calling. Release even the image of a future you painted for yourself, if my peace is no longer in it. Letting go is not weakness. It is the courage to believe that my hand is more trustworthy than yours. When you stop trying to control, I will begin to lead. When you stop clinging to what is small, I will open your heart to receive what is greater. When you no longer see loss as your enemy, you will realize that many things leave only to make room for grace to draw near. I am here, closer than your breath, more patient than your fear, gentler than the memories that once wounded you. Let me lift what you no longer have strength to carry. Let me renew the place you thought had run dry. Let me place within you a hope that does not depend on circumstances, but on my faithfulness. You do not need to strive to become worthy of my love. You only need to return, open your heart, and follow when I call. The days ahead will not be built by your confusion, but by my guidance. And when you look back, you will understand that what I asked you to release today was the first doorway leading you into the land of freedom, peace, and glory that I prepared for you long ago.